Welcome everyone. This is lesson 2 of our course, Educational Research Methods. You recall in lesson 1, we learned about educational research. Now lesson 1 was grouped into definition of educational research. We looked at its classification as well as its um, characteristics. So today in lesson 2, I'll be walking you through identification of educational research problems. I want to look at how do we identify educational research problems, the criteria for selecting educational research problems, as well as its sources. Like I assured you, this course is activity packed, it is stress free, it is comprehensive, as well as very interactive. So sit back, fasten your seatbelt as we cruise through lesson 2 of this course. You're welcome. So let's get back to class. Like I did say in my introduction, um, this is the course EST 351, Educational Research Methods. So today being August 2020, we'll be looking at lesson 2, which is titled Identifying a Research Problem. And certainly, I'll be your facilitator for this course, and my name is Franklin Onowugbeda. Previous lesson, what did we discuss or what did we learn? We defined educational research. We went for that to state the characteristics of educational research, and we summed the discussion with identifying the types of educational research. Yeah, today the objective of this lesson or the objectives of this lesson would be one, defining research problem. The second is to explain the sources of research problem, and the last is identify the criteria for selecting a research problem. You can see we'll, the first step, now we're going higher and then coming to the third step. So it's just a step-by-step process. What, when we talk about educational research problem, what does it entail? Research problem, we can say it's a problem or question which deals with issues. So when you have a problem or a question that deals with issues of sufficient consequence to warrant investigation, you're talking about a research problem. And this research problem can be solved through scientific investigation. So when you have a research problem, you must use a scientific investigation to solve that problem. Now, talking about research problem, it shouldn't just be a problem that the solution is readily available. No, it should be a problem that you got to take time, you make further research, and then your findings will provide solution to that problem. Examples of research problem would be, what are the causes of students unrest in our higher institutions? So you want to determine what causes unrest, the factors that are attributed to student unrest in higher institutions. Another example could be, what are the factors affecting students' academic achievement? Now you can see that the solution of this question cannot be something that is easily available. So you need to research on it, collect data, analyze data, and then you discuss your findings. Next, we'll be looking at the sources of research problems. What are the sources of research problems? Sources can be either through personal experience, can be through literature, can be through experts' opinion. We could have sources from government publication, internet sources, innovative and technological changes. We could also have sources from general educational problem, replication, or theory. Uh, you could go to my course, so I explained all this in details, but in this presentation we're looking at a few of them, say from a few of them. So let's go to the next slide to see what it entails. Looking at the sources of research problem, the first is personal experience. Now, we could have a number of problems ranging from imperfection, inconsistency, or some gaps that needs to be dealt with. And these are identified through interaction with people or from our personal experiences. That's why we say the first source of research problem is the personal experiences, which will be identified through interaction of people. The next source of research problem is literature. Perhaps you read a number of literature, you've reviewed a number of literature. We say it provides some researchable problems apart from suggestions for further research. So when you review literature, apart from apart from giving suggestions for further research, in literature, you also identify some gaps or some inconsistencies or some contradictions that need to be investigated in the literature. So literature is another source of research problem. What we're looking at is experts' opinion. Now, who are these experts? This could be consultants in several professions, or it could be our supervisors, or whoever have you in a particular field. You understand? So these people tend to guide us in identifying our research area because they are experts in those fields. So they are more knowledgeable than us. So they can help us in identifying research um, problems in such areas. Another source is from government publications. Now, research topics or research problem could stem from public publication in the sense that we could have some government policies that needs to be say evaluated or revisited or what have you. So this acts as or this serves as a source of research problem. We want to look at the criteria for selecting educational research programs. What are these criteria? What are these things we need to look out for when we want to select educational research problem? The first is the interests. We have the interests, we have magnitude, we have relevance, availability of data, ethical issue. So these are the criteria that we need to we need to consider before selecting our educational research problems. Now let's look at this one by one and let's know what it entails. So we have the interest. Now, how does interest come to play in selecting research problem? You said interest in research problem, our interest will determine the sustenance of the required motivation to complete the project. So when you don't have interest in such um, educational research problem or such topic, you'll find out that the motivation will not be there to complete that course or that project. The next is the magnitude. Now this involves selecting a topic or a problem that can be managed or narrowed down within the specific time and the resources at our disposal. So in terms of magnitude, we look at the time factor and the resources at our disposal. This is another criteria for selecting research problem. The next is relevance. How relevant is that problem with regards with regards to with regards to individuals and society in making sure that the study adds to the existing body of knowledge and bridge gaps, or it's useful in policy formulation. This is talking about the relevance of um, research problem as one of the criteria for selection. Now let's go to the next slide to see what it is. So the next criteria for selecting educational research problem is availability of data. How available is the data that you want to use in carrying out that research? If you want to use a secondary data, how available is that data? So these are things you need to put into consideration. The last is ethical issues. This is this also has to be considered because in the course of conducting the study, the population of the study may be adversely affected directly or indirectly by the instruments used. So this is one of the one of the criteria for selecting educational research problem. In summary, what have we, in summary, what have we really learned today? We defined research problem. We went further to explain the sources of research problem, and finally, we discussed the criteria for selecting a research problem. Listening to this lesson too, and as you know, my name is Franklin Onowugbeda. You can contact me via my email address at franksimon@gmail.com. Take note of the Frank, it is a double N, or you could go to my class website, which is franklinonowugbeda.com. Till we see next week, it is bye for now.